Today, we are going to discuss some more reactions of aldehyde and ketones, and these reactions include the reduction reaction and the oxidation reaction. These both reactions are very important in case of aldehyde and ketones, and many questions are being asked in the previous question papers and the previous examination. So these reactions are very important as far as examination point is concerned, as well as for the organic synthetic purpose. So the first one is the deoxygenation of aldehyde and ketones, and the deoxygenation is generally being done with Clemmensen reduction or the Wolff-Kissner reduction, in which the C double bond O carbonyl group is being converted into methylene CH2. So this particular C double bond O will get converted into CH2. Here two hydrogens are being added on this particular carbon, so this carbon is now converted into methylene carbon. So basically this is a reduction reaction, and two important reduction reactions are there which are studied under this category, and these two reduction reactions are the Clemmensen reduction reaction and the Wolff-Kissner reduction reaction. So in the subsequent slide we will discuss about the mechanism of these two reactions and the synthetic importance of these two reactions, how these two reactions can be applied for the organic synthesis. So first of all we will discuss about the Clemmensen reduction. In case of Clemmensen reduction, the aldehyde or the ketones reacts with zinc, that is zinc amalgam, in acidified medium. So when zinc amalgam is being used in the acidified medium, at that time the carbonyl group is converted into methylene. So C double bond O will get converted into CH2, right? So that convert it into hydrocarbon. So by this method, by using this particular method, we can convert our aldehyde or ketone into hydrocarbons. So this is a very good method to convert it into the hydrocarbon. So hydrocarbon is being prepared from this one. For example, this is your propionephenone, and this on reduction with zinc amalgam in presence of HCl and water is converted into N-propyl benzene, and the yield is also very excellent, it's very good. For example, this is your heptanol. Heptanol is also converted into N-heptane, 72% yield is here, and this is cyclohexane from cyclohexanone, so that can be converted into this one. Now when we discuss about the mechanism of this Clemmensen reduction, generally two accepted mechanisms are there for this particular reaction, and these two mechanisms are: one that will involve the carbon ionic mechanism, and the second which will involve the carbenoid mechanism. So first is the carbon ionic mechanism, in which the role is of zinc, and the first step will start from reaction of this zinc with carbonyl carbon. So when this particular zinc react with the carbonyl carbon, by electrons will be transferred from this C double bond O to form O negative. Now this O negative, because the reaction is being carried out into the acidic medium, so penalty of H positive is there. So this O negative will now react with H positive and will get converted into OH2 positive. After this, water molecule is eliminated and it will get converted into a carbocation. After this carbocation, this chlorine, which is coordinated with the zinc, is being eliminated out and will form Zn negative. Now this will, through resonance, will get converted into C negative, means carbon ion will be synthesized in this case. So from carbocation it will get converted into carbon ion. After this formation of this carbon ion will accept H positive and will now carry H with carbon, and finally the zinc will be eliminated out in the form of Zn2 positive and it again get converted into carbon ion. Now this carbon ion again will accept H positive as the reaction is being carried out into the acidic medium. So this carbon, which was initially C double bond O was there, now is converted into a carbon containing 2 hydrogens, that is methylene carbon. So this is a method, carbon ionic mechanism of conversion of aldehyde or ketones into hydrocarbons. So this is the carbon ionic mechanism of Clemmensen reduction. Now we will come to the second mechanism, and this mechanism is carbenoid mechanism, that is followed now in this case, in which zinc will first of all react with the aldehyde or ketone and will form zinc carbenoid. So this is the zinc carbenoid that have been synthesized, right? So first of all, synthesis of this zinc carbenoid will takes place by initial homolytic bond cleavage, in which the C double bond O bond will get cleaved homolytically and oxygen and carbon will carry a single electron, and from this one this radical will get converted into zinc carbenoid, and finally this zinc carbenoid will accept H positive proton from the system and will get converted into alkane, will get converted into hydrocarbon. So this mechanism is a carbenoid type of mechanism, and the above mechanism, this one, is the carbon ionic mechanism. So two accepted mechanisms are there for Clemmensen reduction, that is the reduction of aldehyde or ketones into hydrocarbons, right? Now the beauty of this reaction that I was talking about, the synthetic application of this particular reaction, that how this reaction can be used for the preparation of organic compounds, for the preparation of a particular organic compound, or for the reduction of a particular functional group. So for example, we are having a two functional group inside a molecule. Take an example, that is we are having pH C double bond O, we are having C double bond O, and this is CH2 COOH. So this is a substrate which contain two functional groups. One is the carboxylic acid and the second one is the ketonic group is here. If it is allowed to react with ZnHg, zinc amalgam, in presence of HCl and water, so this particular C double bond O will get converted into CH2, and this carboxylic acid will be intact from the reaction. It means we can convert this particular substrate into carboxylic acid, right? And this C double bond O will get converted into only CH2, that is the methylene carbon. So this is the beauty of this reaction. This is the synthetic importance of the reaction, that where we can apply this particular reaction, or where we can particularly convert a particular functional group into CH2. So this is the synthetic importance of the reaction, right? So it can be applied in this type of reaction. Now we will come to the second reaction, and this second reaction is Wolff-Kissner reduction, which is again conversion of aldehyde or ketone into alkanes, into hydrocarbon. So this reaction is generally being carried out in basic medium, right, with hydrazine. So if we discuss about the mechanism of this reaction, initially you have studied the reaction of aldehyde or ketone with ammonia and its derivatives. You know that when it reacts with the hydrazine, it will get converted into hydrazone. So in the first step, hydrazone will be synthesized, and the mechanism of hydrazone synthesis you have already studied in your previous class. After formation of the hydrazone, that particular hydrazone will get converted into alkane by using basic medium. So this is the overall reaction, that this particular ketone first of all react with the hydrazine, and after this it will form the hydrazone, and this hydrazone on reaction with base will get converted into CH2, that is hydrocarbon, with elimination of N2 being a better living group. Now the mechanism, as you have studied this mechanism in your previous lecture, so we will start from this particular hydrazone. Hydrazone has been synthesized, and after formation of hydrazone, the base will first of all attack on the hydrogen, and this will be removed with leaving this particular electron to form N double bond N, with migration of this particular electron to form C negative, right? So H2O first of all will be eliminated out, and there is formation of C negative, right? Now this C negative, this after removal of this one, this C negative will abstract this H positive from the water, and after abstraction of H positive it will get converted into this one. Now base will again react with the hydrogen, which is attached with the nitrogen, and when it abstract the H positive, this particular electron between nitrogen and hydrogen will move to form N triple bond N, with migration of this particular bond to the carbon to form carbon ion, and molecular nitrogen will be eliminated out. After formation of this C negative carbon ion, this carbon ion will again abstract H positive from the solvent and will get converted into methylene group, that is CH2. So by this method we can convert our aldehyde or ketone into hydrocarbon into alkane. So this one is your Wolff-Kissner reduction, in which first hydrazone is being synthesized, and after formation of hydrazone, the hydrazone will get converted into the hydrocarbon. Now the beauty of the reaction, the synthetic importance of the reaction, if we are particularly concerned about, this particular method is useful for acid sensitive aldehyde and ketones. Means that the aldehyde or ketones which are sensitive to acids, they can react under basic conditions and we can do the reaction. right? So this is the synthetic importance of the reaction, that this particular reaction is useful for those aldehyde and ketones which are acidic sensitive, right? So this is the synthetic importance of the reaction. Now some more reactions of aldehyde and ketones that will include the MPV reduction. You have studied this reaction in the formation of alcohols in your previous semester. In case of MPV reduction, if we are particularly talking about, we generally use ketones, right? And this ketone on reaction with aluminium isopropoxide and in presence of isopropyl alcohol will get converted into alcohol, right? So this method is particularly useful for the conversion of ketones, right? For the conversion of particularly ketones into alcohols, right? So this is your ketone, and this ketone on reaction with aluminium isopropoxide in presence of isopropyl alcohol will get converted into this particular alcohol. So this is another reduction reaction of aldehyde and ketones. So far we have discussed about the reduction reaction of the aldehyde and ketones. Now we will discuss about the oxidation reactions of aldehyde and ketones. So when we are talking about the oxidation reaction, first of all we should know about it that aldehydes are more reactive as comparison to ketones if we are talking about the oxidation reactions, and they can be easily oxidized by using different type of the oxidizing agents under different kind of conditions. For example, this is your aldehyde, and this aldehyde will be oxidized into carboxylic acid. So aldehyde on oxidation will get converted into carboxylic acids, right? And what kind of oxidizing agent that can be employed for conversion of aldehyde into carboxylic acid? That may include the KMnO4 into acidic medium as well as KMnO4 into alkaline medium, right? Potassium dichromate into acidified medium, that can also be used as a oxidizing agent for oxidation of aldehydes. And other reagent that can be used is Tollens reagent, Fehling solution and Benedict solution that can be used. And these three reagent, that is Tollens reagent, Benedict solution and Fehling solution, these reagents are also used as a test for identification of aldehydes in a unknown organic compound. So in the subsequent slides we will discuss about these reactions, so oxidation of aldehyde and ketones. So first of all we will discuss about the Tollens reagent. In case of Tollens reagent is what? This is basically ammonical solution of the silver nitrate, right? This is ammonical solution of the silver nitrate, and this particular Tollens reagent when react with the aldehyde will convert this aldehyde into ammonium salt of carboxylic acid, and silver will be deposited, right? So deposition of this silver is called as the silver mirror. There is a formation of mirror inside the test tube in which this reaction is being carried out, right? So deposition of this silver on the side walls of the test tube is an indication of presence of aldehyde in particular unknown organic compound. So this is a very beautiful test that we can use for the identification of aldehyde in a particular organic compound, unknown organic compound. Now this reaction is also called as a silver mirror test. If we are concerned about this one, Tollens test is also called as a silver mirror test, and aromatic aldehyde as well as aliphatic aldehydes both respond to this test. Means both of the compounds, whether aromatic or aliphatic, both compounds can undergo this particular category of the test and generally deposit silver mirror, deposition of silver will takes place in this case. Now come to the second reaction, that is the second oxidation reaction of the aldehyde, that is reaction with the Fehling solution and Benedict test. So first we will discuss about the Fehling solution. If we are particularly talking about the Fehling solution, there are two Fehling solutions, that is Fehling solution A and Fehling solution B. So first of all, you should know about the Fehling solution. The Fehling solution A is basically copper sulfate and the B is Rochel's salt, that is sodium potassium tartrate. So when we mix these two solutions, that is Fehling solution A and Fehling solution B, in equal amount, that will prepare a Fehling solution, that is called as the Fehling sample Fehling solution. So when this Fehling solution is allowed to react with the aldehyde, right, in high temperature, at some elevated temperature, at that time the aldehydes will get converted into sodium salt of carboxylic acid, means it is oxidized into the sodium salt of carboxylic acid with formation of red precipitates of cuprous oxide. So formation of this particular red precipitates in the test tube is an indication that the particular unknown organic compound contain aldehyde group. So this is a very beautiful test. The similar test is also being used for the Benedict solution. And what is this Benedict solution? This solution is basically a mixture of copper sulfate and sodium carbonate and sodium citrate. Means copper sulfate is being added into sodium carbonate and sodium citrate, that collectively form the Benedict test, Benedict solution. So we have Fehling solution, we have Tollens reagent, and we have Benedict solution. So when it reacts with the Benedict solution, means we generally heat the aldehyde with this Benedict solution. Again, that will form the red precipitates of this cuprous oxide. So again, appearance of this red colored precipitate is an indication that the unknown organic compound contain aldehydic group as a primary functional group. So this is the category. Now how we can differentiate? I was talking about the type of reaction that we can easily differentiate between the aldehyde and the ketones by using this particular test. Now I want to tell you about this one, that first of all, you will have to identify that a particular organic compound contain C double bond O group or not. For that, you will have to use 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine test. When a particular compound contain C double bond O moiety, that react with the 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine and will form orange or red colored precipitates with 2,4-DNP, and the 2,4-DNP will form 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazone, that will be converted into phenylhydrazone. So appearance of red colored precipitate in that particular reaction is an indication of presence of C double bond O group in any unknown organic compound. Now we will have to differentiate that this C double bond O group is either a part of aldehyde or a part of ketone. So we can use these three tests for the identification of presence of aldehyde in any sample. So if that particular sample will respond to these tests, that is the Tollens reagent test, the Fehling solution test, and the Benedict solution test, it means the unknown organic compound which was containing C double bond O group, that C double bond O group is a part of aldehyde, and that is not a part of ketone because the ketones didn't respond to these tests. These tests are basically used for aldehydes only. So this is a very beautiful reaction, that is a very beautiful reaction of aldehyde, that is the oxidation of aldehyde. So aldehydes on oxidation with Tollens reagent, Benedict solution and Fehling solution will get converted into salts of carboxylic acids, and in some test silver mirror will be synthesized, and in the two test red color precipitates will be formed. So identification of these will give you a clear cut indication about the presence of aldehyde in any organic compound. Now we will come to the oxidation of the ketones. So far we have studied that aldehydes are more reactive towards oxidation reaction as comparison to ketones. However, ketones can also be oxidized, and the oxidation of ketone is Baeyer-Williger oxidation, in which the ketones will be converted into the ester, and the second oxidation reaction, if I am particularly talking about of the ketone, is use of strong oxidizing agents, right? Because under milder condition the ketones cannot be oxidized, but if we use drastic condition, if we use so many has condition for the reaction to happen, at that time ketones can be converted into carboxylic acid with breakage of bond, right? It means if we are having this type of particular group, so this particular bond will get broken down and there will be fragmentation, and we will get two different type of carboxylic acids in that case. So that will be the oxidation of ketones under very strong oxidizing agents. For that reaction, if I am particularly talking about, there will be fragmentation. So fragmentation will form two different type of the carboxylic acids. Now with which carboxylic acid the C double bond O group will move, that rule is called as Popov's rule. Right? And according to this rule states that during oxidation and the oxidation of unsymmetrical ketone only, during oxidation of unsymmetrical ketones, the keto group, the C double bond O group, will always stay with the smaller alkyl group, right? That will go with the smaller alkyl group. For example, if we are having this particular ketone CH3, C double bond O, CH2, CH2 and CH3. So this bond will be broken down during oxidation with strong oxidizing agent, and this keto group will come with the smaller group, and the smaller group is being the CH3 group. So one acid will be synthesized from this moiety and the second acid will be synthesized from this moiety. So one will be CH3COOH, acetic acid will be synthesized, and the acetic acid will be synthesized from this moiety, and this particular moiety will be converted into, that will get converted into CH3, CH2, COOH, right? So this will be the kind of oxidation of ketones. If we are particularly talking about the ketones, means first of all the ketones will be oxidized only under the strongly oxidizing agent conditions. And if we particularly say about the oxidation, at that time Popov's rule will be employed, and for that rule we can clearly say that this particular C double bond O group will go with the smaller part. Now, how these two kind of the products can only be synthesized? First of all, if we particularly talking about the mechanism, for example, when we discuss about the mechanism, so generally the mechanism start with the formation of the enol. So which enol will be synthesized, that will depend upon the stability of the enol, right? For example, in this slide we can see that enol can be synthesized. What kind of enol? I will show you what kind of enol can be synthesized from this one. We can get this particular type of enol, one thing, and we can also get this type of enol as well. So which enol is stabilized, the reaction will happen from that enol only. If I am particularly talking about the above enol, so for the finding the stability of this type of enol, we can have a rule, that is the highly substituted alkene will always be preferred over less substituted alkene. So this is a case of less substituent because it contains the alkene like character. So this particular alkene is containing only 2 hydrogens, so this is least substituted. And if I am particularly talking about this particular alkene, this is highly substituted. So this alkene, this enol will be prepared, and from this enol the product will be synthesized, and this bond will be broken down, and this particular C double bond O group will come with the CH3 group, and this particular moiety will get converted into another carboxylic acid. So this is the oxidation of ketone under drastic condition. So that's all about today's lecture. Tomorrow we will discuss some more oxidation reactions of ketones and how the ketones can be converted into different type of compounds by using those oxidation reactions.